Hello, my name's Sue and I work at Wisbech Library, Cambridgeshire Library. Now, some of you may know the Summer Reading Challenge is underway, although not as those of you that have done it before would know it, as this year it's all digital due to the exceptional circumstances that we have at the moment. But if you go to the Cambridgeshire Library website, you can sign up there, and this year the theme is the Silly Squad. The Silly Squad is a team of adventurous animals. They get up to all sorts of tricks and things, and also on the website, when you've signed up, you can get lots of book recommendations, and there's silly puzzles and activities and games, so it's all good fun. So have a look and get reading for that. That would be brilliant. So what I'm going to do for you today is a silly craft. So I thought we'd go along with silly monsters. Why not? And I've used yogurt pots, but you can use all sorts of things. You could use plant pots, plastic plant pots, although ask your mum and dad before you start using them, you never know. You could do a brilliant one with a great big plastic pot and make a huge monster. But you've got plastic pots, all different shapes, doesn't have to be round. You could even use tins, turn it up that way, or you can have it that way and have things coming out. So these are some that I've made. So this one here, I actually used 2 yogurt pots. I used a big one and a smaller one. Now I happen to have some old socks which work very, very well with yogurt pots, and you just stretch them out like that. I'll put one on the tin and show you how that works. Stretch it, pop it over the top like that, push that in there, and you've covered your tin. And then after that you can just start adding whatever you want to it. So what I didn't actually add much to this one. I rather liked the way it looked. So I got a small yogurt pot, and I started off, first of all, I had some nice thick wool, which I got my small yogurt pot, and I started off like this. And I just wound it round and round and round, pushing it down so that, you didn't have to use too much glue, a bit of glue to start and a bit of glue to finish it off. So that's how I covered the pot. And then I made it some hair, and that's quite easy. You can do it however you want, but the way I did it, I made some loops, kept going like this, and then I cut the loops so that you get the hair like that. Tied it up in the middle and stuck it on the top so that you get that effect. Then I found I had some, what did I have? I had some pom-poms. I had a bag of pom-poms which I used for the nose. Googly eyes. If you don't have googly eyes though, another way of doing googly eyes is you can get a piece of white paper. Just get some white paper, cut out circles, get a black pen and make the eyes, and then stick them on like that. So you don't have to have googly eyes, they work just as well. And then I had some pipe cleaners, so I made the mouth. And then you got your face. And then I just sat him on top, like that. And then I gave him some arms. I thought, well, monster's got to have arms really. And I literally just stuck one each side underneath the pot. You could stick them on if you want to make sure they don't fall off, like that one keeps doing. You just stick it underneath, make sure it goes all the way up like that. Oops. And then you have your 2 arms each side like that. Another way of doing arms, it's a small yogurt pot that I put the sock on. I gave him some hair with some pom-poms, gave him one big eye, and I had some plastic spoons that I happened to have around, and then that one, you could just stick that on top of your tin or your yogurt pot, and you've got another monster like that. Now this one, I had some doilies, this sort of thing, which I cut the middle out of, and then I stuck the yogurt pot through the middle so it gives it a little skirt like a ballerina. Then I used tissue paper and I just scrunched up little pieces of tissue paper like that. I've got a little bit of glue on the pot and I just stuck them on all around, which gives you quite a nice effect. And then I cut 2 holes in the top. I stuck some pipe cleaners through and stuck a little eye on top there. Again, you could just cut out paper eyes. And then I made it a little mouth and a nose. That one looks actually quite good on top of a big one as well. Now what I've started to do here, I've got my big pot and I've been winding them all round to cover the pot up. Just carry on doing that and do a couple and then just push it down. Carry on going. That doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to cover the yogurt pot really. It doesn't want to look like a yogurt pot basically. You just keep wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. And then when you get to the end, get some scissors to cut it off. Take the last piece round to the end and just a little bit of glue like that, and that just stops it unravelling. So you end up with a nice pot like that, and then you can stick your other on top and it gives you a nice finish like that. So that's another way of covering a yogurt pot. Then you start to build up a family. One I started here, I had some felt, some green felt, which I cut. And I only stuck it in 2 places. You don't have to stick the whole, put glue on the whole thing like that. And then a little pot sits on the top again quite nicely. You don't have to put a small pot on top, but that just happens to sit rather well. You could put your sock around that. These socks do work quite well. If you've got some old socks, you don't even have to cut them. And you just pop it on like that. They do fit. Just put it down like that. And push the excess inside and stick it over the top. And then you can start adding all sorts of things. What else have I got? I've got some big pom-poms in there. They look good, stuck all over. I've got some pipe cleaners. So they, again, you could make an antennae. You can just cut that one in half. And stick one inside there. You have to cut the hole through, and one in there. And you start to build up your silly monster. Again, tissue paper, thick wall. You could draw a face on if you want to, on the actual body. Cardboard. I've got some bits of card here. You could make it so that it sits on a bit of cardboard like that. It's endless what you can do with a yogurt pot. So, start saving your yogurt pots, and don't forget, if you don't eat yogurt and you haven't got yogurt pots, plant pots, tins, anything that you can think of. So have fun, sign up for the summer reading challenge and get crafting. Okay, bye.